And we are back on the Fowler Show. Now, as you know, this week, the president did deliver his State of the Union address. But beyond that, he also sent Jack Lew to the United States Senate for approval to be Secretary of the Treasury. The Jack Lew went through his hearing, and in part of his hearing, he talked about, the whole, he put the spotlight on Wall Street, and why, Wall Street is what Wall Street is, and they should they've kept the same line and the same mantra of let Wall Street does what Wall Street does, and the rest of America will just deal with it. But I really think that now is the time for us to really take a good look at Wall Street and the havoc that they've caused the American economy and the havoc that they've caused the American people. And I think a part of that is sort of talking about or calling for passage of the Inclusive Propriety Act, and beyond that, making sure that people in Wall Street can finally pay taxes on their transactions. A lot of people out there don't understand this. So I'm going to break it down for you, then we're going to bring the guest on who I think can talk and sort of give some context to it. But when Wall Street makes transactions, so when a bank buys something from another bank, or when they sell something from another bank, or when they make when they make transactions, they don't pay any taxes, right? So it's like every time Wall Street goes to Walmart to buy a good or a service on certain transactions, they don't pay anything. But the American people, on the other hand, middle class and working class families, when they go out and they make a purchase, guess what? They have to pay taxes on every single individual purchase. Now, is that fair? Is that right? Is that just? No. Should Wall Street pay for these transactions? Of course they should. If they do, maybe we'll be able to solve some of our revenue problems in this country. Maybe we'll be able to solve some of the so-called quote-unquote deficit problems in this country. And I say quote-unquote for good reason, because deficit isn't the problem, but I digress. Either way, I'm not the one to talk about this. We're joined by Liz Murray. She's from the National People's Action and the Robin Hood Tax Campaign. And she's joining us tonight to sort of talk to us and to provide some context behind the movement for bringing the gauntlet down on Wall Street. Liz, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Richard. Thanks for having me. Boy, you nailed it right on the head.
Thank you.
Everybody pays taxes but Wall Street.
Everybody pays taxes but Wall Street. Now, tell for those folks out there listening and those watching us on YouTube, tell us about the Propriety Act.
The Inclusive Prosperity Act. Sure,
I'm sorry, Prosperity. There I go, messing up the act already.
That's Representative Keith Ellison from Minnesota. He's one of the co-chairs of the Progressive Congressional Caucus, and introduced a bill last year, and we're expecting it to be reintroduced this year as well. That is a financial transaction tax, or Robin Hood tax, and it puts a very tiny tax on bond sales, stock sales, derivative sales, a lot of the kinds of transactions that are making our economy less safe.
I love that. So basically it sort of says that you can't make our economy less safe. You can't make some of the same mistakes you made in 2008 to get us in this debacle to begin with. And I think that's so important. Now, a lot of folks out there don't understand the Robin Hood tax movement and the coalition. So explain to us what that coalition looks like and what the movement means.
Sure. It's a very broad movement. This idea is not new. Sometimes it's called the Tobin tax. It goes back 100 years. And is actually in close to 40 countries have one, and about a dozen more are about to have it in Europe. And there's coalitions all over the world, in England, in Europe, and here in the United States. We have a coalition, the Robin Hood Tax Coalition. You're testing me, but I believe we're close to 100 different organizations from across the spectrum that care about what's happened to our country. That are part of this movement that say, hey, we need to make our economy more safe. We need revenue so that we can rebuild our economy and our infrastructure and hire our teachers back. It's fair. It's possible. We need it.
I love that. It's fair. It's possible that we need it.